Walking down to your basement should not be like walking into a dungeon. You want finishes that are clean, bright, easy to maintain. It's one of the reasons we're finding more and more people are trending away from carpet and looking to stained or dyed concrete as a way to get an easy to maintain, bright, vivid finish for their basement floor. Carpet, when it gets wet, can hold mold. Mold can create respiratory issues. Down here in a basement setting, there's not a lot of air movement. That can be an issue. So, the following 6 segments will address common issues when you go from carpet to stained concrete. Step 1, we need to determine the condition of the concrete. In order to do that, we have to remove the carpet. Let's see what we got. We got issues. We've got carpet glue, tack strips, we've already got some divots, we've got cracks that have been repaired. If your concrete is dirty or it has soils, a good soap and water scrub and clean. If you've got oil or grease or other types of contamination, you want to be using a concrete degreaser. We also have got leveling here. Where this concrete is not level, it's already settled in certain areas. So what that tells me, we're going to need to put a topping down. This concrete is not in condition where it's going to be able to accept a stain and look good. Before we can put our topping down, we have to prep the surface. Time out. What if you walk into this situation? You remove the carpet and the concrete's in great condition. If you're lucky enough to find yourself in that situation, you're 2 short steps from being able to stain or dye your concrete. The success of any stain or dye project rests on the ability of the product to be able to penetrate and absorb into the concrete. You need to do a water absorption test. The water absorption test involves pouring water on the concrete and seeing what happens. We should see absorption in less than 3 seconds like we have over on this side. That means the concrete's good to go. If you see beading up like we do over here, that indicates some type of contamination, sealer, or something that's keeping the water from penetrating. If you find this, you need to address that before you move forward. Moisture vapor transmission is a serious issue. Known as MVT, it's the movement of water through concrete in vapor form. The problem is, you can't see it, smell it, or taste it. It wreaks havoc on stained and dyed floors. For that matter, it wreaks havoc on most any type of flooring. It can destroy carpet, wood, leave that white, undesirable look under a sealer coating. The good news is, there's an easy way to test for MVT. Good solid piece of plastic, 1 square foot, and some duct tape. This is known as the plastic moisture test.
It's the moistest.
We're going to tape down this plastic to the concrete and we'll just let it run for 24 to 72 hours and we'll see what collects underneath. Let's see what we got here. That is exactly what I'm looking for. No moisture, no dampness, no sweating. That means we're ready to move on to staining or dyeing. Now, in a situation where I would have moisture on the concrete or condensation on the back of my plastic, that means I've got MVT or moisture vapor transmission issues. I would need to seal off the concrete or deal with that separately. It's important to note, plastic sheet moisture tests can be inconclusive. If there's any presence of moisture, I always recommend running additional, advanced moisture tests. These include calcium chloride tablet test to determine the amount of moisture vapor moving through the concrete, or a relative humidity test to determine the internal moisture content of the concrete. More information on these and other concrete moisture testing procedures can be found at www.concretenetwork.com. Now that we've dealt with a floor that's in great shape, let's jump back over to the floor that we're doing prep on and get that ready to stain or dye. The first step is going to be addressing any surface contamination. In this case, carpet glue. This is going to require some kind of a scraper or trowel and possibly a chemical stripper to remove any remaining residue. At this point, we've scraped the solid material. If we were going to use this floor to stain on, we would need to use our chemical stripper to remove those residue lines. But in this particular case, because we're going to put a topping down, that's not necessary. Now that we've addressed surface contamination, let's see what that's left us to work with. You can see the striations and the marks in the concrete. This floor has been blast tracked or shot blast previously. That actually plays to our favor. That's a great surface prep for the topping we're going to use. But before we put a topping down, we're going to need to dress the cracks. Join us in episode 2 where we deal with treating and patching pop-outs, divots, and cracks.